I'm Jim Brown, and I farmed all my life until about 8 years ago. I'm the first Brown among all my ancestors who is not farming for as far back as we could trace them into Germany. And I had an epiphany that things were not working right. And so I climbed in my pickup in the spring of 1995, drove down to the Iowa State House, called out my senator that I'd helped to elect, and I have been lobbying state houses in the U.S. Congress, writing, building coalitions, and public speaking ever since. The bill number was House File 519, and we called it the green light for corporate hog production in the state of Iowa. Myself and probably 95% of the other independent pork producers in the United States are no longer raising hogs. It is not that we had to have this financial meltdown. It is not that the decimation of independent pork production is the result of natural inevitable economic evolution. It's because some very selfish people have gained control of government and are able to write laws that are unjustly treating the American people. I am happy doing what I'm doing, and so I look at what has taken place as a blessing rather than a curse.
Here in Illinois, I know people will say that it's like two states where we have this separation of, this Chicago urban experience and rural culture. The food mile for us is the same food mile as those in urban Chicago.
We're 340 square miles here in our school district, and we have two grocery stores, and both of them are struggling financially. So we are as close to a food desert as Englewood or south side of Chicago or some of the other areas that you think of.
I'm Deb Roush. I too live here in Princeton, Illinois. It's pretty sad to see what's occurred in our home community of Manlius, which no longer has a grocery store, which no longer has the kinds of services that a community needs to be vibrant. And this, with incredible soils around, etc., and farmers, but nonetheless, you have to drive a long ways to get food.
If somebody would have told me 10 or 15 years ago that I'd be in this room with you folks, I'd have never believed it, because I was an introvert and I never left the farm to go to Princeton, Illinois, let alone anywhere else.
Communities, they don't have the means or the infrastructure to feed themselves anymore. As I drove down through the small community that I grew up in, it's not so much about, is there a grocery store, is there not a grocery store? It's why there isn't a grocery store. And the dollars don't come here.